Oh, Ziggy.
It had to be like this, Paul.
Ziggy. Just an absolute nightmare. No other way around it. Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul Farrington joined by Robert Ziggy Ziegler, reacting to Super Bowl 60, which the Seattle Seahawks have now won 29-13. You really can't make it up, man. You really can't make this up. If you sat down any Viking fan before the season, maybe therapy might have to be an option. Therapy might be on the table, seriously. I've never been anti-therapy, but I've always just, kind of gone on without it.
It looks good on you, though. That was your approach to therapy. I wouldn't do it,
yeah,
but it's good for
I had
everyone
no
else.
problem. And in fact, I encouraged it for people who pursued it. And if you sat me down before the year and said, what's the most likely course of action that could happen for Paul to end up in therapy at the end of the season, it would have been J.J. McCarthy is terrible, doesn't play, so he can't get any better. You win every game that he doesn't play, so you're worse in your draft stock. And then the unfathomable would have been, well, okay, if we're just joking around here, I guess like Sam goes and wins the Super Bowl or something like that. That would have been the scenario, with Aaron Rodgers going to the playoffs and Daniel Jones having a great season for the Colts before his injury, and all the other rookie quarterbacks going on that were drafted with McCarthy going on runs to the playoffs. You couldn't have scripted it really any more nightmarish than what we wound up with. And I'm happy for Sam Darnold. Let me get that clear to everybody right now. I feel good for Sam Darnold, who is a very, by all accounts, a great guy. Super happy for Sam. At the same time, we can acknowledge that whatever just happened was truly unprecedented, and there has to be a greater power at work here, Ziggy. There's no other way. There's no other way.
I told you the week before this game that we should expect exactly this outcome because this is what would hurt Vikings fans the most. And sure enough, that is exactly what happens. It's just hard to believe that a quarterback that we had in the building that was willing to take a discount to stay with us. He's not going to win Super Bowl MVP because Kenneth Walker's probably going to get it. So, okay, fair enough. But Sam Darnold took the Seattle Seahawks to the playoffs. He took them to the Super Bowl, and they win a championship. Meanwhile, the Minnesota Vikings are sitting here at pick 17, and there's no hope for us. It's hard to believe that this is how the season has gone.
No, there was no way. Someone here goes Vikings biggest loser this year. Has to be. When you take a look, when you go across the entire landscape of the NFL this year and say who's the biggest loser out there, it has to be
the poll out of here, Paul. Do you feel bad for us? We're not putting that poll out.
No one feels
That's a
bad.
Disgusting act from you.
Why? Why is that disgusting? I'm just curious if people are relishing.
We're not mining pity from the fans. That's not what we're doing here.
I'm not mining pity.
Paul, you and me, we chose to be Vikings fans. We've brought this on ourselves. No one should feel sorry for us because this is what's crazy about it. We could stop this at any time. We could just change and stop feeling like this.
You can't. No, you can't. And everyone,
NFC North teams you could go be a fan of right now that are in a better spot than us. 3.
Ziggy, but that's not fandom. That's not an option. It's not even on the table.
Failure is always an option.
You are born into your fandom. Some people, right, can become a fan if there are some outlier situations where you can adopt a team. You're born into your fandom, and you stick with that fandom. The people who switch their fandoms, I've been seeing some social reels. We put out some social reels about people who switch fandoms. It doesn't count. You can't switch your teams. People in the comment section, they know this.
No, Paul, no.
Your team is your team.
Yourself to justify what we're doing here.
Your team is your team, and you stay with them through thick and thin. Now, for us, it's a lot more misery than maybe it should be. But I have friends who are Jets fans who go through hell every single year, who are numb when I look at them and talk about football. They go pale in the face. They'd rather talk about anything else. But I have Jets fans who every Sunday put on their green and cheer. And they know what they're doing. But that's a true fan. And I'm a true fan. When we're down 23-0 and Max Brosmer has 4 interceptions in Seattle, I'm rooting for a touchdown on the next play. Because that's the kind of fan that I am. Now, it would just be nice if once in a while that fandom was rewarded to the full extent. But here we are. Here we are. You can't switch fans. You could put that poll out.
I did.
Can you change your team? 35% of people who have voted yes so far Disgusting to me. Disgusting.
I don't know. We've got who put this in? We have Austin 9189. I went from being a Vikings fan as a kid and went to Green Bay, and I was born in Minnesota. How does it feel, Austin? Been a fan of Green Bay since I was 7 years old and haven't looked back. I want to know what it's like.
Ziggy, did tonight's game make you feel better or worse about the Darnold situation?
How could it make me feel better?
Because
Sam, the game.
The Seahawks defense was just. You know what? You're totally right.
Paul, you're about to finish that sentence. You know who else had a defense that could obliterate opposing quarterbacks, send pressure all over the place, get a guy anywhere in the field, generate takeaways?
I know.
No, like the Seahawks had a better running game than us. But other than that, this team could have been us.
That should be the title of the video. Because this is the thought process that I had. Obviously, after the Rams game, it was true heartbreak. Like when Sam has 4 touchdowns or whatever he had, game of his life. It's like, you got to be kidding me with this. And then, of course, he's such a nice guy, you can't actually root against him. But throughout this game, I'm watching him. He's like 9 for 22 at halftime. Hasn't really played that well. And I'm thinking, you know what? At least Sam's not dominating the game, right? Like at least maybe I'm trying to find ways to mold it to feel better. And then I came to the exact conclusion you just had. What other team in the NFC was loaded everywhere else, had a defense that was winning games on its own and with capable, right? Because that's what Darnold did today. Just capable, competent quarterback play. Could win a Super Bowl in a year, by the way, where there really weren't any good teams. Like Seattle was a very good team with an unbelievable defense.
This was an opportunistic Super Bowl win from them.
But this was completely taking advantage of, there was no last season's Eagles. There was no the Chiefs were not a threat this year. The Lions,
both the Patriots and the Seahawks had relatively easy paths to the Super Bowl. The Seahawks won their division. You get credit for that. Then you beat the 49ers at home in just a slaughter. You take on the Rams, who are a pretty good team, and boom, you're in the playoffs. The Patriots on the other side of the bracket get to play playoff Herbert, playoff CJ Stroud, the Broncos backups, and then they're in the Super Bowl.
How can I it's just impossible. It's just impossible that this is how it played out this year.
Sam Darnold plays for the Minnesota Vikings. Seattle's not a threat because they don't have a quarterback, right? They're playing Geno or whatever. We are the 1 seed. We at least win the division.
Oh, certainly.
If you give us host San Francisco and to host LA,
the only thing that I'm coming back on to really have any sort of peace with this is I have to imagine something would have gone horribly, catastrophically wrong for us in the NFC Championship game against the Rams. That's a fitting team for something tragic to happen to us. So this is how twisted and sick my brain is. I'm envisioning borderline catastrophic events happening to the Vikings in the championship game to make up for watching the Seahawks win the Super Bowl.
You have to hold on to the belief that we're cursed.
My peaceful situation comes from dreaming up unimaginable heartbreak for me as a fan. How sick is that, Ziggy? Like, I'm sitting back here going like, yeah, we probably would have had like a kick block to lose the game in the NFC Championship game. It feels better.
You know what's even more sick than that, Paul?
That's so messed up.
I got something even more messed up than that.
What?
There's people watching this video and enjoying it who have not liked, commented, or subscribed. We're trying to hit 30. This is our last chance, folks.
This is our last chance
before the end of the season.
We need help getting there.
It's the only thing that could make this feel any better. And if you've been enjoying it, we've making content all year. We've got tons of off-season plans. Just hit that subscribe button.
The Packers,
it's right there.
The Packers. Oh my gosh, I was reading a comment. The JJ McCarthy stinks. Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl. Notre Dame's kicked out of the playoff. Miami goes on a run to the national championship. It truly has been just like the worst football season ever.
After last year was so close to greatness in so many ways.
Thank goodness the Hurricanes didn't win the night. Like that would have pushed me over the edge.
No, but this is what sucks for us, Paul, is there were so many reasons last year, right? If you were a Vikings fan and Notre Dame fan, to think we're going to build on this year and make it even better.
Of course.
And both teams took huge steps back.
Notre Dame's in the whole other. We don't need to get into that.
Sure.
Because
in terms of results,
that,
they were huge steps back. Can we at least say that?
Oh, clearly, yes. Result-wise, absolutely. But yeah, that's a whole other conversation. No, the Vikings thing was you can't. There's no words. There's no words that haven't been said, and there's really no words that do it justice. What's the Lou Holtz quote about Notre Dame? It's like, if you, there's no words would suffice if you haven't seen it. Like that's the
Suffice.
What suffice? I'm sorry.
Suffice?
I'm sorry. I'm kind of going through it right here. Give me a break here. After you said Josina Anderson about Josina Anderson, world renowned. Like, all right, let's get in.
Paul, there's an update to the poll. People think in general you can't change teams, but can Ziggy change teams? Is overwhelmingly yes.
Well, you've done it before, but now you're locked in now. You were one of the rare exceptions to the case where early on in your fandom, like you didn't watch football till you were 18, 19 years old.
Yeah, just about.
So like you're someone who had no relation. Your first move was to the Jets, your father's team, which was an understandable move. But in that case, when you're figuring it out, I was
never really a Jets
fan. You claimed the Jets, but you really had no idea about any of it. So
I said that at the time.
Yeah, and you were a fan for like a month, and then you're like, I really have no attachment to the Jets. I grew up a lot in LA. I'll go with the Rams. Cheered for them for a little bit, but never wholeheartedly. I never really looked at you as a Rams fan. And then within a year, you came and you're like, my calling's as a Viking fan.
I just knew.
And you've been a Viking fan ever since. So that you effectively had a choice. And yeah, you made a bad choice. Look, you made a bad choice. I didn't.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. You coerced me into making a bad choice.
Yeah, I may not have presented you with the full.
You lied to me.
Oh, I didn't lie to you. I said
you lied to me.
I said to you, do you know what you're getting yourself into? This is really your first true experience this season of Vikings heartbreak. Because you came into it after the Eagles year. So you had a couple ups and downs. You saw a little bit of a sneak peek with the Kirk Cousins Giants game. And last year really was a nice introduction at the end of the season. But this full season, I mean, the past year of your life, year and 2 months, has pretty much been the Minnesota Vikings experience. It feels like you're borderline euphoric, and out of nowhere, you plummet just so far beneath rock bottom. And that's where we are now.
Someone told me a couple years ago, Paul, there's no such thing as rock bottom. And I thought, surely there's got to be some point within the logical space where things can't possibly get worse.
Ziggy's free will leads him to Lambeau from Hype Television.
Yeah, it's getting to me, Paul. It's getting to me.
I get it. I understand.
And here's what's going to happen. We're going to trade for Tua or Kyler Murray. We're going to have to do this all over again.
I just hope it's Rodgers. Look, we'll have a whole offseason to discuss what the Vikings should do.
You know, I'll tell you one thing. I do want to talk about the game for a minute.
Yeah, let's talk about the game a little bit. Yeah, it is a Super Bowl reaction.
Did happen. It's not. We don't want to make it all about us.
Yeah.
What was that play calling from the Patriots? My roommate John is a Patriots fan. He's watching it with his family. Just kept texting me every play. Why is it a 7-step drop? Why aren't we throwing the ball quickly? Why aren't there quick passes coming out? And the one time they decided, hey, our offensive line isn't playing great. Maybe we should call a 3-step drop. Boom, immediate Matt Collins touchdown. The Seahawks defense played great. Don't get me wrong. But they ran the same few plays every time, and there were easy solutions, and McDaniel just refused to call it.
No, I can't speak to why they didn't make any changes, but Seattle's defense has been really good all year. Now, to be fair, like the Rams lit them up in the NFC Championship game.
It helps
a great
lot
offense
when you don't do anything about them being in your face every play.
Yeah,
and I get that the left tackle was injured. I understand this. The Will Campbell injury obviously mattered a lot, but come on.
Well, Drake Maye didn't have a good game either. Even when there were guys open, he missed a lot of them all night. And when you look back on the Patriots this season, I don't want to just immediately go to the schedule merchant theory because, to be fair to New England, right, they won 14 games. They blew out bad teams. They didn't just beat bad teams. They blew out bad teams. But do I think that their schedule and their playoff path actually, was by far one of the weakest we've seen of a team going to the Super Bowl? Yes. Like, that was true. They took advantage of a horrible schedule and went to the Super Bowl and got rocked by a team that's hot right now. And I wouldn't be surprised at all next year. When you look at who they have on their calendar, you go to Kansas City, to Jacksonville, to Seattle, to Detroit, to Chicago, to Buffalo, to the Chargers. I mean, your home games, you still, right? You got Green Bay in there. You have Denver. Hopefully we're better. You got us. Like, this is not, I wouldn't be surprised if they miss the playoffs next year. I really wouldn't. They were a very good team that also, like Seattle, took advantage of a weak field and got, I mean, the playoff teams they beat was Stidham Broncos. The Texans defense was very good, right? And Herbert and the Chargers in round 1. Like, they had an easy path, and they didn't show up tonight. And they were not a team that was able, they were never going to be a team that if they didn't show up when they play a good team would not find themselves in trouble. And that happened. And next year, I think
every team when they play really poorly in a big game loses.
No, but they're like, you can be off, and there are some teams where there's enough talent to make up for. Like, I didn't think
How many teams get to overcome a really bad performance from all their stars in the Super Bowl?
Sometimes
Besides
it's a team.
Christian Gonzalez.
Sometimes it's a team with the superstar quarterback who can will them there. And look, yes, I agree with you, right? Like, we've seen Patrick Mahomes struggle in the Super Bowl. Like, yes.
You also have to consider that, like, the Super Bowl champion basically always has one of the weakest strengths of schedule in the NFL. It's been this way for a decade.
Sure, but New England truly, I mean, you go through that schedule this year, and it's hard to find
2024 Philadelphia, second weakest schedule in the NFL. 2023 Kansas City, third weakest schedule. 2022 Kansas City, weakest schedule in the entire NFL. Like, this is a regular thing.
Sure. I mean, but there are some differences, though, Ziggy. I mean, Philly won the game. They won the Super Bowl, didn't they?
Sure.
Like, New England showed up.
You're saying the Patriots are a better team than that? No, I'm saying the strength of schedule thing is way overblown. The teams in the Super Bowl usually always have among the weakest strength of schedule in the NFL.
Usually there's a little bit of a tougher path, though, than what New England went through. Philly last year beat a Rams team that was really good, right? I know Washington was hot and on a run and maybe wasn't, but I think last year's Washington team might have been better than anyone New England played. Certainly the Rams were. Like, New England's playoff schedule was truly horrendous. And that's no fault of the Patriots. The Patriots play the team in front of them. It's just when you look at the overall talent of the team this year, this felt more like a team that might be a weaker division winner for a conference than the 2 seed. I mean, like, Drake Maye at no point in the playoffs was that impressive either. It felt like they were more riding a wave this year. And we'll see. If they come out next year and have a great season again, then I guess everyone's wrong who's saying that. But a game like tonight, when they played really the first good team that they've played since, I don't know, Buffalo, if you want to count Buffalo. Like, they got rocked. So I have no problem saying they were truly a schedule merchant in like looking back on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say they're schedule merchants when they won, 16 NFL games this year? No, they won 17 NFL games this year.
Yeah, because
there are no bad NFL teams.
Yeah, there are. There are bad NFL teams by NFL standards. If you want to put them against college kids, you could say they're bad. There are, if you want to put them against other teams, if you want to put against college kids, they're all great. But in the NFL, there are bad NFL teams. The Browns are a bad NFL team. The Jets are a bad NFL team.
And the Browns won 5 games, nevertheless.
Like, 5 games is not a good season. 5 games is a bad season. When you're playing the Saints right before the Saints started even winning games, when you're playing the Saints, the Titans, the Browns, the Falcons, the Bucks, the Jets, the Bengals without Burrow, the Giants, the Ravens without Lamar for a half, the Jets, the Dolphins, those are bad teams.
And these are all teams that managed to win a bunch of games this year.
Against other bad teams mostly. But no, and look, that's what I'm giving New England credit for. This was a year where a lot of teams struggled to be consistent, and New England wasn't. So you have to give them credit for that. But you can also acknowledge when you look at like them having the 2 seed was because of the schedule they had.
Well, it's because of them beating Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, they split with Buffalo.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good win. That was a good win early in September or October when they did that. I'm not saying that New England's a bad team. It's very clear when you look at them throughout the year that it helped them to have a terrible schedule.
Well, sure, it helps every team.
And it helped them to play a backup quarterback in the AFC championship game. And it helped them to play a horrible Houston offense without Nico Collins in the divisional round. They're a good team. They're not a Super Bowl caliber team. They would have been a very weak champion.
The Super Bowl. If Super Bowl caliber is the one team that wins a Super Bowl every year, you're of course correct.
Yeah, they were a very weak representative for the Super Bowl.
I'm not sure I want to form that inference off one bad game.
It's amazing. I was watching the game with Jack, and Jack looked over at me at one point and said, "Man, the whole AFC was just weak this year. Like, if Denver was in it, that would have been a disaster." It was just, and that's what makes it so hard. This is what it all comes back to with why it's so frustrating as Vikings fans, because it was that wide open, where you feel like if you were able to get out of the NFC, there was no Patrick Mahomes this year. Josh Allen, I would have been worried. Like if you asked Seattle, who would you want to play? I think if you gave them every team in the league, right? And let's just say they're healthy, and you said, who do you not want to play in the Super? Or like when would you want New England? You'd probably want New England before you get Buffalo. You probably pick New England. You might take them before Baltimore with Lamar. Would you take them over the Chiefs? I don't know.
You see, you listed you got two teams.
I said maybe you pick the Chiefs. I mean, Jacksonville. Like it's not.
You didn't take Jacksonville over the Patriots while you're talking about schedule merchants.
I look, the New England. I don't know. A lot of people are not surprised by this outcome tonight.
Yeah,
I'm a little surprised it was this big of a blow. If the Patriots
won, a lot of people wouldn't have been surprised either. It doesn't tell you anything.
Where do you look at Drake Maye as far as AFC quarterbacks next season? Let's say you go into next year, okay? You're building your team. I'm giving you a pick. AFC quarterbacks, where do you take Drake Maye?
3 or 4. People are going to really overreact to one mediocre game that a second-year quarterback had in the Super Bowl.
Who are you locking in over him?
The totality of the season, like you're probably taking Josh Allen over him. You're probably taking Mahomes over him. Maybe Lamar, and that's it.
No Burrow?
Joe Burrow's not going to be healthy next year.
Like, I'd take Joe Burrow over Drake Maye.
I've given up on Joe Burrow being healthy. It's never going to happen.
Who else in the AFC? Herbert? Lawrence? No. Probably not either of those guys. But he's closer to that class, in my opinion.
Sure.
Than the top
also
class.
His second year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Again, this is a great success. Like, New England had an unbelievable season. To go from where they were last year to where they got to tonight, and you're allowed to have a bad game, right? Like, you can have a bad game. And I don't want to be out here sounding like, I'm not trying to nullify everything they did this year. They had a really good season. And again, beating all these bad teams is something that teams like Buffalo couldn't do, right? That's why New England was the 2 seed. But just because you can beat up on all the bad teams, when you run into the good teams, you can have trouble. And that's kind of what happened here. They didn't do it in miracle ways like the Vikings did in 2022, where we were winning every game by, the edge of our seat. We were on the edge of our seat for those games. But I'd be shocked if New England's back in this game relatively soon.
You should be surprised if they're back in the game relatively soon. You should be surprised if any team's back there relatively soon. 1 team out of 16 makes it every year.
But people are talking going into this game saying, people are asking, is the dynasty back? I'm like, what are we talking about here? Can we relax? Can we win something? Can they win something first? On the other hand, though, Darnold in Seattle, and that defensive performance tonight, that made me feel, it did make me feel a little bit better. I'm still finding ways to manipulate myself, but when the defense shows up like that, I'm out here kind of ragging on Drake Maye a bit. It's hard to win a game when Seattle's defense is playing the way they have for most of the season, and the pressure that they force. That to me, if you could give it, who won MVP Did you see?
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker, and he had a great game.
He's probably not going to be on the team next year.
Kenneth Walker had an unbelievable night. The Seattle defense was the MVP of this game. And it's tough because you can't really pick one guy, so to say. Everybody played at a high level. It's too bad they couldn't just say, like, the MVP goes to Seattle's defense and everyone gets a trophy. That's really what it should be. It was that dominant of a performance where Sam just had to play mistake-free football. And the Patriots made mistakes, and the Seahawks didn't. So is Seattle a worthy champion? Yeah, they definitely are this season. And Sam Darnold was good enough that's what hurts, is you're watching the Vikings in these big games last year and Sam is horrible. And on the run this season, even in the times when he wasn't spectacular like he was against the Rams, and he was spectacular against the Rams, he just didn't implode like people thought he might. And that was good enough for his team to win. And it would have been good enough for us too, probably. That's what hurts about this.
Well, and if you think the Seattle team is any good, you should be nervous because they're really not losing many important players going into next season. Like, obviously, Kenneth Walker and Rashid Shaheed were useful down the stretch this year, but they locked up Charles Cross. Among guys who really started snaps for them on defense this year, I think they're happy to see Reek Woolen gone. Like, Kobe Bryant is replaceable. This Seahawks team is going to be good next year.
Oh, and Mike McDonald
win the division.
And Mike McDonald's a great coach too. Like, you know, I didn't really when Mike McDonald's going on all these things about how hard he works and not seeing family. Like, I personally, I don't like hearing all that stuff. But that's just me.
Wait, it's because it makes you a worse coach. Sean McVay's right about this. It's weird virtue signaling.
Yeah, I found it a little bit bizarre. But I will say, you know, Mike McDonald, when we're talking about the best coaches in football right now, what he did with the Baltimore defense now comes over here to Seattle. We talk about all of the great offensive young minds in football, and I'll still loop in, I guess, you know, like when Shanahan was coming up more, McVay, talk about Ben Johnson right now. Mike McDonald, if he was offensive-minded, would be in the same exact conversations we're having with all these people. I don't know where.
He will be now.
He will be now. And I don't know where you slot him when you're ranking coaches for who you'd want leading your team if you had a draft. But with the way they won, dominant on defense, in the biggest moment, that's McDonald. And that's the team that he put together. So, him and John Schneider, of course. So, I mean, just it's an unreal win for them, and I am super jealous. Like,
the Ravens must be so mad they let him go.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're excited about Jesse Minter, but when you're watching him win the Super Bowl here, it's hard not to be upset. But you weren't going to get rid of Harbaugh at that time, so
no, I'm not saying they made like a dumb choice, but you have to imagine in the building they're like. Sort of like we are with Sam Darnold. That should have been us.
They're closer related to the Jets in the situation where the Jets are like, man, you know, Priya probably had to go somewhere else to win, and it wasn't going to be here. That's probably what, you know, Baltimore's watch. If any Baltimore, I haven't heard of any Ravens fan, and here comes Sam up to talk with the guy. He's just such a nice guy. And
Sam just throws two fingers up and says, "That's for you, Minnesota."
Yeah, did he?
One on each hand.
Yeah. Double bird says.
Of course, Sam, he is a Seahawks now. He can double bird if he wants. You know, some people were saying like the Seahawks might activate their contract and cut Sam. Like when they first signed, they're going to cut Sam Darnold after 1 year. Paul, what do you think the odds are they cut Sam Darnold after this year? I mean, he's got to be just the biggest winner, right? Like, you read all these stories about
he just won the Super Bowl, Ziggy. Of course,
struggling for a job in Seattle or at USC, and then he got kicked out of the Jets, and then he got kicked out of Carolina, and then he got kicked out of Minnesota. Like, unbelievably, Sam Darnold has proved that actually he really is that guy.
So we went to, I don't know how many of you guys watched, but we went to the Super Bowl Radio Row. We were in San Francisco all week. Great week, I'm sorry, in San Francisco. We had a ton of fun.
Shout out Adam Rank. We'd love to interview you next time.
You could go check out the vlog on our channel. Like, it is cool. We took you behind the scenes of Radio Row. Yes, I had a rather unfortunate mistake with who of identification.
You did not get to see Paul's brother and I pounding candy of Richard Sherman.
Yeah, that did happen, and that was fun. But when you first walked into Radio Row, there was just a gigantic poster, of course, of Sam Darnold on the wall. And I just went, I don't know if I could be here. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And I'm again happy for Sam, but man, it hurts. It's impossible to. I just can't wrap my head around it. The only way to actually process it is to just be so numb to it, and like the whole week, I was like, I don't care about the game. Yeah, I'm here at Radio Row, but I don't care about the game.
I mean, we could not go down to Santa Clara and actually see these guys. Like, if I saw Sam Darnold there, I would have lost it.
And and someone says here $30 million for Darnold too.
Like his base salary next year is $12 million, man.
Jack came on the show a couple weeks ago and said he would pick Sam Darnold over any quarterback in football to have for the next 5 years. I don't know
why he said that.
No, look, he was probably just trolling us. But I bet there are a lot of people out there who are going to vault Darnold into. I mean, there are probably people who will have him as a top 5 quarterback. I don't think he's quite there. But clearly tonight you saw, like, this is what the Vikings. I mean, this is what they were last year. This is what they were last year. This Seattle team has more talent, I would say, but not that much more. Oh, it's brutal.
Well, you know what sucks, Paul?
What?
It sucks to watch your ex leave you and trade up. Well, I guess we left.
No, we left.
But the ex trades up. The ex trades up, and then you just have to sit back and say, well, I guess you were right. He really is better than me in every single way.
No, what's so horrible about all this for us is you think of the Vikings and Vikings fans as the good guys. Because we are pretty innocent. When people come up to me and say, I hate the Vikings, I'm like, why? Like, what did we ever do?
Done to you?
Like, what possibly could we have done to you? Even the teams, like if a Saints fan comes up, it's like, I hate you. I hate the Vikings. I'm like, what? You screwed us and won the Super Bowl. Like, why? Why do you hate us? You got a Super Bowl out of it. And I have that same reaction for anyone who says they hate Minnesota. Packers fans don't like us. It's like, they're like, oh, we hate Vikings fans. They're so obnoxious. Like, all you have to do is tune it out. Like, I'm a Yankee fan. And if Mets fans get obnoxious, I just tune them out. I don't care. So to me, we're just an innocent person. But in this story, we're so clearly the villain. Like, we're the bad guys of the story, Ziggy.
If this were a Disney movie, we'd be the ones cackling in the back, like, we don't believe in you, be gone.
Yes. We'd be the ones sitting in the press box scowling as Sam Darnold celebrating. I'm like, I can't get over that. Not only is it a terrible feeling that we lost, like that this could have been us, but then I'm like, oh shoot, and we're also the bad guy. It really is impossibly bad. But I guess that's just life as a Viking fan. Not much you can do about it.
How are we here, Paul?
Well, I guess I don't know. You know what it is, Ziggy? It's that someone tweeted this out too. You forget how horrible Sam was against the Lions. Like, that's how bad he was against the Lions and the Rams.
He was worse than Drake Maye was tonight.
And I get that the Rams game, the line was terrible. But in the Lions game, Sam was beyond bad. And the rebound performance against the Rams was horrible. The two really good teams, right, that we played last year, it was really bad. And I still get why they made that decision. Clearly it was wildly wrong. We can all acknowledge that now. But that's the Viking story. It's like it had to go so poorly that we wouldn't bring him back. That was the only way we weren't bringing him back. Jay Sanchez. Myers didn't even get a mention by the team. Bro went 5 for 5 on kicks. 17 points total with a tackle. Dude deserves some respect at least. Yeah, I was watching with Jack. Myers is actually a Marist grad. Jack's alma mater. I believe the first Marist player to ever play in the Super Bowl. And he set the record, right? With most field goals in a Super Bowl.
I think he tied it.
Maybe he tied it. But there is now a Marist Red Fox in the Super Bowl. Like I would say
all-time points leader in Marist history.
I would say a pretty substantial Super Bowl record. Like most field goals in a game. Like they add up. Clearly. Producer Zach, by the way, unreal shout out. He's not here tonight. but producer Zach texted us before the game and said, have a hard time seeing New England getting to 10, which I disagreed with it. As good as Seattle's been, I figured,
the over-under for this game was, what, 45.5?
Yeah, I mean,
that was a real call.
10 points is like, I mean, you're shut down under 10 points. And I know they got 13. They had the late touchdown, but they did not get 13.
Yeah.
Unbelievable call from producer Zach there. Let's see a couple of the other super chats here.
Yeah, well, let's get to a couple of these super chats.
M. Bloom, I don't think that's Zach, but most people can't switch fandom. Ziggy isn't most people. Oh, well, that could be. I could acknowledge that. Ziggy isn't most people. Ranger Halada, member for 5 months. Thank you. Says Christian Gonzalez has a strong case for best player on that field. He was great.
It's not strong. It's decisive.
He was decisive.
He was the only reason New England was in that game. Who was better on the field tonight?
Oh, no, I think he was the best player on the field tonight.
Yeah, I'm saying that the case for it was he the best player is just so obvious.
Yeah, the two plays that he made, the diving bat down early was, not to remind Packers fans, but that reminded me a bit of the Pat Surtain interception.
I mean, do you realize how good you have to be to shut down the Emerald City route artist?
I don't get how people come up. Like, wasn't the guy who asked that question was a legit dude, right? He worked for a radio station or something?
I mean, he's about as legit as us.
Okay. Because I can see Jack saying something like that. If anything, he
might be less legit than us because he has 2 jobs before. So, like sports content creator is his 3rd job.
Okay, there's 2 levels to this. When you come up with a name like the Emerald City route artist, either you're a genius because you have thought ahead of, if I come up with a name this ridiculous, it'll go viral and help my career in that case. Which is, if that's the move, it is pure genius. It would have been like us. I'd love to say that we made the switch into NFC North teams and our misery because we were like, oh, people like, that's an interesting, unique take. No, we kind of, we did a bunch of things. No, I wouldn't say lucky, but we did a bunch of things.
Incredibly unlucky.
We did a bunch of things, and eventually we found what worked, but not because we thought of it and proactively went after it. It just, it kind of like we finally hit after tons of methods. So either he's a genius who thought of it, or he is just, I don't even know if I could say it without like, I don't even know if I could say like
a cringe lord.
Yeah. And like you watch some of these Super Bowl commercials and you say, I really can't understand how it's possible that you can have a multi-million-dollar campaign with very important decision makers all in a room and go, yes, that's the product we want to go out there. And I have to imagine that this guy's friends heard that, like, this isn't a question he came up with on the spot. No one on the spot comes up with Emerald City route artist.
Intentional.
It's something that you have to say to your friends. Like, if I looked at you and Jack and said, and my brother, and was like, I'm going to ask Jackson Smith and Jigba, I'm going to present this new nickname to him, the Emerald City route artist. You would look at me and say, like, that's insane. It's the worst question you could possibly ask him.
I mean, we all of us raised questions at that level in our like pre-show meeting.
Yes. So I think he might just be so bad at the job that he's actually good. that could be the other side of this. And I have no idea which. I have to imagine it's that one. But to his credit, I mean, I guess it's so unique that I don't know. It's mind-blowing.
Before we move on, I do want to give a shout out to a John Schumann, who apparently, I got a text from my cousin saying there's a fan of yours at my Super Bowl party in California. He showed up wearing a Tucker Kraft jersey.
Oh, I just have to say,
wearing a Tucker Kraft jersey to the a guy who hasn't played since week 5, and a Packers player, a team that hasn't played in weeks, to the 49ers, or excuse me, to the Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl. Shout out to you, John. You're a real Packers fan. I respect it big time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's always still weird to hear that. From Hidden Handle. Oh, Hidden Handle here. Wow. I don't know who Hidden Handle is.
Whip the 5 gifted too, which we appreciate.
Tough night for P-Ruff and the PFS gang. Stay strong, fellas. P.S. Hope y'all had a great time at Radio Row waiting on the Sharpie endorsement for Ziggy. Yeah, that was fun with Jeremiah Love.
If Sharpie wants to reach out,
Hidden handle.
I won't advertise on our show, but
Hidden handle dropping P-Ruff, which finally after years was leaked out as my nickname. P-RUF, correctly spelled too. That's a really impressive super chat. I'm blown away that you remember that because that was said pretty quickly on an episode one time.
And like we never actually call you that.
No. Well, most people don't. But that is, if you were to say, like, what's my
makes
nickname?
The poll more impressive.
It's impressive.
To be clear.
Hype Television. Love that Ziggy is a Packer fan for life. Yeah, I'm trying to hold on.
Come on.
Total malarkey. Darnold. Yeah, that one hurts. That one hurts. Alexander says, congrats on another nightmare, boys. Pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much the story of this show. Jake Adams.
Jake Adams.
I'm sorry. Hear me out. Maybe Tom Grossi was right with his nickname for the Vikings. Maybe God is punishing them. I mean, Ziggy, you're a theological guy. Like, that's probably not the case, right?
The Minnesota Vikings are not, in fact, the purple incarnation of Satan.
Well, yes, that. But I'm saying, like, when we're talking about other powers at play, basically, straight up, I'm asking you, it's unlikely that God hates the Vikings. Well, God, I guess, can't hate.
Hebrews 12:6, the Lord reprimands those whom he loves. I think God just loves us more than everyone else because we sure seem to be getting reprimanded and chastised all the time.
Okay. All right, maybe that's the case. Ranger Alada again, Christian Gonzalez, easily the best on the field. And
totally agree.
The question from Jay there before. Yeah, it's a tough night. Radio Row was a lot of fun. We were able to block out the noise of the Darnold. I mean, it still was whenever we talked to anyone, right? We talked briefly with Portnoy. We talked a little bit with Kyle Long. We talked. Who were some of the other guys we spoke to about? We talked with Sherman, right? Richard Sherman and his producer Mitch. My coworkers at the Volume. They were all like, they all felt so bad for us. They were all like, man, how are you even? Portnoy just said, how are you even here? And he walked away finally. I was like, I don't know. Why? What are we doing here? Maybe we do just enjoy pain. I don't even know. QAXCGY. He says, not just the Vikings, all Minnesota sports except the Lynx. Yeah, the Lynx are amazing. I'm not a Minnesota sports fan, but I did enjoy the Maya Moore run of excellence there for my fellow Minnesota sports fans. I root for them. I root for their happiness because I understand just how much of a toll it takes being a Viking fan. Did you have a nice time in San Francisco, Ziggy?
I don't even remember it after watching this game. This game is just blocked out the whole week. Now, of course, Radio Row was neat. It was cool. It was awesome to, it's like sort of like Jeremiah Love said. Jeremiah and I were basically the same guy. He's just like, it's so cool to see all these people you see on TV.
I think I was talking with Jack during the game. I think a halftime show next year might be worth me and Jack sitting down with you and going inside the mind of Robert Ziegler for 20 minutes. Would you be open to that?
Well, I'm an open book, Paul. You can go inside my mind anytime you want.
I would like to have a sit-down conversation where Jack and I interview you for about an hour, maybe longer, depending where the conversation goes, and we just get into the life story.
Yeah, maybe so.
I want the room blacked out except for 3 chairs, and we just run through Ziggy. Oh my God!
Are you kidding? I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to read this super chat instead from Sammy. Pats and Chiefs playing the AF Cupcake Conference while Green Bay has to fight the greatest supervillains of all time to win a Super Bowl. I don't know. This year, all you guys had to do was fight the Bears, and you couldn't even do that. So I don't know if I buy that, Sammy. I'm trying to recover, Paul. You got to lock back in, man. You got to lock back in, Paul.
That's hard. I just can't. I can't. That's tough. I don't even know.
Don't clip it. You know, I do
I'm
have to
sorry.
say I agree with
I'm sorry.
nasty and
I'm sorry.
it's fine, Paul.
That's on
I
me.
was about to change the subject and you brought it up again. I was gonna say nasty N and P has it right. Ziggy is really missing your sister, Paul. Lauren, come home.
She is.
I miss
She's
you.
on a plane ride home right now.
No, I don't
She
mean
missed the
home.
connection.
Paul,
Oh,
I don't mean
home
home.
to you?
I mean home.
Oh, oh God. Just a nightmare. A nightmare
Look,
recording.
I
Nightmare
deserve something to
comments.
go right in my life, Paul. My fiance calls off the engagement. The Minnesota Vikings do this. Notre Dame does this. Notre Dame basketball does this.
Notre Dame.
UVA basketball does whatever they're going to do this year to let me down. UVA football can't beat Duke to go to the college football playoffs. I got to defend my dissertation in a month and a half. It's like half done. What am I supposed to do, Paul?
I still can't believe that comment that came out of my mouth.
Why do you keep bringing it up?
It's did you hear what I said?
I'm pretending I didn't.
I mean, like that. How does someone say something like that to 1,000 people or 900 people?
I appreciate you just more than doubling the size of our live stream. That's a good poll.
Sammy says, Pats and Chiefs playing the AFC Cupcake Conference, while Green Bay has to fight the greatest supervillains of all time to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, it does feel like recently. Well, look, here's the reason. What you're saying is the Chiefs are or have been the supervillain. So, like, it's a little unfair to be like the Chiefs at the cupcake because they are the villain to Buffalo. They are the villain to the Ravens. Like, your Green Bay's closer in that regard to what Buffalo's going through. Where, yeah, it's different teams. So I get what you're saying. Right? Great year for Philly. Great year for San Francisco. That has been happening. But Kansas City has been the team. Like the Patriots this year, yeah, they didn't go through anyone that made you go, okay, this is legit. And they weren't the bad team, or like, the bad guys they were afraid of. Packer Doug, props to the Vikes for having stones to hold people accountable. You hire people whose job it is to avoid people second guessing such decisions. I don't think the Packers organization would have done that.
Yeah, because the Packers organization wouldn't have gotten there in the first place.
Well, there's a couple. Yes. What Packer Doug is saying that I actually do. It's hard to, obviously in hindsight, it's hard to agree with it. In the moment, it did take a lot of stones to have that much faith in JJ McCarthy, but it definitely was wrong. So I get what you're saying.
But what I find frustrating about this, Paul, I'm not saying firing Kwesi wasn't appropriate, but here's why I think it couldn't have been JJ McCarthy. The coaching staff played a big role too. I just don't find it plausible at all that Kevin O'Connell was saying, please, we need another option other than JJ McCarthy. Kwesi said, overruled.
No, I know. It doesn't make sense.
When Daniel Jones didn't come back, he said it's because he felt like he had no chance of winning a starting job. Kwesi wasn't going down on the practice field saying, sorry, Daniel, we don't think we can give you a starting job.
The reports are Kwesi wasn't even there. Like, I know it was years ago, but that's what people were talking
about. Kevin O'Connell, and he's done a brilliant job of this, and his agent has done an incredible job. And I'm not saying that like he's Machiavellian, even though he might be. But he has totally avoided all blame now for this decision. Like the QB whisperer picked the wrong QB, and it's apparently entirely the GM's fault.
There's more to the story that we don't know. The whole time, the rationale for Vikings fans, it was we trust O'Connell to make the right choice. That's what we said. So we may never know what really happened behind closed doors.
But we kind of do.
But we think we do. But we haven't heard from it. We haven't heard about it straight up. Maybe can we get Kwesi on? Kwesi, we know he has time.
The reporters that I trust say that like Kwesi was just isolated. He wasn't listening to advice. He made a lot of enemies in the building. The analytics people hated him for good reason. The scouts hated him. Like, here's what we do know, and this is reporting from a year ago, is Kevin O'Connell and the Wills both were begging Kwesi to spend more time around other people and stop looking at spreadsheets.
How could
Spreadsheets he wasn't even following.
I'm blindsided by that report about everyone not liking Kwesi and the discontent, because you would have thought. I mean, man, Viking social media does just a phenomenal job, because you would have thought that they were all extremely buddy, and I don't know. Maybe they did like each other more than some of the reports are indicating. But one time, Ziggy, I did like a brief internship called Must Love Sports during COVID. It was something that some sports people tried to set up for college students who didn't really have anything going on and were kind of getting screwed out of internships. So they started Must Love Sports, and we had like Jay Williams did a talk. There were a lot of guest presenters, and we had some assignments, things like that. And I remember the first meeting. So, there's like 100 kids in this thing. And the first meeting comes around, and everyone's, introducing themselves, stuff like that. They're breakout groups, and that's it, right? Then we had all the meetings during the year where you had guest speakers, and there were a couple assignments. And to me, that's what it was. And all of a sudden, like I get an email the week before it ends. It's like, hey, guys, got our last Zoom. Can't believe it's over. What a journey this has been. I was like, what do you mean, what a journey? Like, this was like a couple Zooms. And I logged on to the final Zoom meeting, and people were like crying in the Zoom. And they were like, the woman who ran it, her name was Raleigh. They were like, Raleigh, like this has been such a profound impact on my life, and I've made friends that will last forever. And there's like, people are like, it's like singing Kumbaya. And I was like, what the hell did I miss? Like, I have no idea to this day how this happened. Like, I didn't miss, maybe I was Kwesi. Like, maybe they just all, I don't know. I didn't miss any Zoom meetings. I didn't miss any invitations to anything. It just blew my mind that there was this life-changing thing I was a part of and had no idea. That's sort of how I felt when reading these articles of like, oh, the Vikings hate each other in that locker room.
Well, but look, it's in every NFL franchise. There's tension between decision makers. These are all guys that think that if things were done exactly the way they want it to, they'd go and win a Super Bowl. And when things start going bad, that's when that tension turns into conflict.
Winning cures all. And when you're losing, it is crazy the difference in culture, right? Winning and losing. This is how you know
when things are actually disasters, when people hate each other when they're winning.
Yeah.
And that does occasionally happen in the NFL.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
The Eagles. I mean, I think the Eagles is
fair.
Midwest Mountain Man, hats off for a fantastic season from PFS. Paul Rowe. Women crying on Zooms. It's self-explanatory.
People,
fantastic.
That is nowhere near the weirdest thing someone has said in this chat tonight.
Oh, I haven't seen.
It's been a rough night for people in our chat coming in and saying bizarre weirdo things.
Oh, like I haven't been. I've just been on the super chat here. Hats off for a fantastic season, though. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We're gonna have a great off season. Like, my motto for 2026 has been shoot for the moon. So we're gonna try and get a couple big time guests. We're gonna try and do a couple big time things. It should be a lot of fun, and I hope that everybody else takes that advice. Maybe not. That's that motto and applies it to themselves for whatever they're doing right now. Shoot for the moon. Go for it. Like, whatever it is that I'm really intrigued about, and I have a lot of people who message. Some people listen to the show who message, particularly on LinkedIn, Ziggy, which is really like a very smart way to reach me.
Which is funny. It's good they're reaching out to you on LinkedIn. I check my LinkedIn once every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, well, I like LinkedIn. I like LinkedIn.
What do you mean you like LinkedIn? Hold on. We'll let you finish your story in a second. What are you talking about?
I enjoy LinkedIn.
What do you mean you enjoy LinkedIn?
Well, I guess this is wrong.
What do you like about it?
No, you're
LinkedIn
right.
LinkedIn is one of the worst platforms on the planet.
No, you're right. I rarely use LinkedIn. But I find it funny how serious some people take it, and that makes me get enjoyment out of it.
Okay, sure. You like it ironically.
Yes, I ironically enjoy LinkedIn. So like for example, I'll message our good friend Tommy Cassius and my brother, and all we'll send is the self-automated prompts as conversations. So we'll be like, "Hi Thomas, how are you?" And it's like, "Good, how are you? Doing okay?" I find it funny in that way. Like people are way too serious. I'd love to just open up a LinkedIn and see someone use it like Twitter, like, woke up and had, not sure if should I have bacon or sausage for breakfast, hashtag, like LinkedIn. Make LinkedIn casual. But anyway, people reach out on LinkedIn, and it's really smart because now people are now it's gonna be filled up. But people reach out and they're asking a lot of times about going into sports media and stuff like that. And I'm really intrigued when I have conversations with these people about what their ideas are. I talked to one kid down in like Miami, and he wanted to have like a Spanish speaking Miami Heat podcast. And sometimes I get way too wrapped up in what these people are actually trying to do, where I'm like, wind up being on the phone for an hour plus, and I'm just start rattling off. That's just, I have to have some sort of like ADHD or something like that. You can see it in this ramble right now. But I'm very intrigued by people who are curious and entrepreneurially have an entrepreneurial mindset. So yeah, shoot for the moon this year. That's my 2 cents on what you should do for 2026.
What are you talking about?
I just got carried away on a little ramble.
You're just saying words, man. I feel like I'm in business school right now.
I just think it's awesome when people have a goal and they go for it. And they really go for it. That's all I'm trying to encourage people to do.
This is a view I really have is people sometimes rag on folks for going for things they can't possibly hope to achieve. Doesn't matter. Going for something sincerely with all your effort.
Okay, so wait. You're gonna rag on me for going on that, but then immediately do the exact same thing.
Well, I'm gonna say something that is actually insightful.
Okay.
Even if you completely fall flat on your face and suck, you will learn a lot of valuable skills.
Sure. Yes.
So
okay.
Don't listen to optimistic Paul over here. Like you can achieve your dreams. You probably can't.
No, I think you can.
Failing to achieve your dreams, you will learn something valuable.
I think you can achieve your dreams because most people will quit before they actually ever really have a chance. Like you kind of have to grind unless you're just like a prodigy.
This is modern liberal nonsense. If you just work hard enough, it'll be okay. I don't know, man. Read a book. Shout out to Hujman's whatever you're cut off on my screen. 6 out of 6, 16 points. Josh Myers got shafted for MVP. I'll be boycotting the NFL next season. Kickers are people too.
Well, yeah, you're a big special teams guy. You must have been upset about that. Jack was pushing for it the whole time.
I wasn't upset, but he had a plausible case.
Clav 34, member for 3 months. Thank you. That is really nice of you. And all the members that we have. Packers need to hire the Patriots training staff tomorrow. Least injured team this year versus one of the most. Yeah, you do need a little bit of luck in that regard. Injury luck. But I wonder, look, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But I have to imagine that there's something, right? Like there's
the difference between most and least is luck, right? Like if you're one of the least injured teams, that has to be luck. But if you're consistently getting more injuries than other people, I will say this though. I think too often people blame medical staff when they should be blaming the head coach. I mean, there's only so much medical staff can do if coaches demand that players do things that aren't good for them.
Do you believe in any of that 49er?
We're not even mentioning that on air. That's so ridiculous.
Last thing we'll mention, then we'll get out of here. So it was a very fun, very long week in San Francisco. Ziggy needs his well-rested shut-eye, and so do I. Man, I do love, by the way, West Coast time, Pacific time. That's just an awesome lifestyle. Like, do people on the West Coast seriously work? I don't know. I guess you wake up a little earlier, but if you're like logging off at 2:00 with all the other East Coast people most of the time, going to the beach, it's warm, like, it seems really nice. I'm not moving to LA or anything like that, but I don't know how many listeners we have who are West Coast right now. But man, even when I'm in like Chicago, just an hour back, oh, it's awesome. Like the game ending for all you guys right now, it's 10:26, not 11:26, or it's 7:30. You still got a little bit of night in you. It's very nice. Someone, Riley, just said here, yeah, Cali life's nice, dog, from Jeffrey. Yeah, it seems like it. Sam showed himself a champion in the NFC Championship game. Yes, I agree with that too. Darnold did not win the game tonight. He didn't lose it, right? But
Sam Darnold played pretty well.
He played fine, but he had his moment in the NFC Championship game where he went toe to toe with the MVP of the league, and you could say outshined him. You could argue that, and that was the monkey off the back game. It could have blown up tonight. Like, there was a world, and the Patriots defense was good enough where, especially early on, there were a few plays where he could have got picked off. I think Gonzalez could have picked him off before halftime too. Great play, but he could have picked him off. Patriots needed that tonight. But Darnold didn't lose it. And, yeah, you got to give him his credit. His moment, his really career moment came in that NFC Championship game. That was the one that hurt the most. But it was totally, Riley said this in the comment section, one of the most boring games I think I've watched. Like, big games ever. The game sucked. Like, can we all be real tonight? Like, that sucked. That was horrible.
You know what also sucked was me giving up on pronouncing your name. I apologize, Husman Slama. That was totally inappropriate for me to not read your name during your super chat, and I apologize.
Did you say, what did you say, like Husman? Did you say like Husman
Zada?
The what?
The great TJ Husmanzada.
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 The Bengals receiver?
He's Husman Slada. Or Husman Slama, excuse me. Like Slamma.
I enjoy listening to you like reference people from before you started watching football because it is pretty funny. There's been some good ones.
He was a Bengals great who also played for the Super Bowl champion Seahawks. Not when they won a Super Bowl, but it's a team that won a Super Bowl, unlike the Bengals and the Raiders.
Husmanzada was good. He was a good fantasy player to have for a while there. Him and Chad Johnson were a pretty electric duo for a while. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks again, everyone. We had what? Over 800 people, at one point over 1,000?
Typically 1,000. Yeah, this was a great,
awesome live show.
Considering it, no team any one of our viewers cares about was playing, except our like 3 Seahawks fans who aren't here because they're busy celebrating. Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, by the way, Ziggy, I was talking about this with Matt, and then we'll truly wrap this up. A lot of people talk about hating losing versus liking or loving winning.
Yeah.
And you hear you hear competitors. A lot of times there's some of the great competitors that we say in sports. And they say what drives them is that they hate losing more than they love winning.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people who grow up, right, they hear the biggest stars say that. And that's sort of a mentality they take, right? Even if you're really good in high school or middle school, a lot of people be like, oh, I just hate losing, man. I hate losing so much that I need to win. And I actually looked at Matt and I was like, I love winning. Like, I love to win. When the Vikings win a big game, it's euphoric. When they beat Buffalo in that crazy game in 2022, I love that feeling more than I hated losing. In fact, the reason that I play and I watch the games is because I love winning so much, where if I hated losing more than anything else, I just wouldn't do it. Because the highest feeling, right, that you could have is misery. I think winning, I love winning more. I've never experienced it at this level with any of my teams, so I hope Seattle fans are having a blast tonight. But I think loving winning more than hating losing is probably more people actually feel like.
Yeah, and that's why most people don't believe in greatness at any cost.
Sure.
Right, you're talking from the fan perspective, but it's the way that most people become truly great at something is by saying, I'm going to become great no matter what it takes, no matter what it costs me. And I think that's a terrible way to live, but it's a great way to become an NFL quarterback.
Well, yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
They don't know the way of virtue.
Yeah, there's a whole other conversation we can get into. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks, everyone.
This will be during our halftime show next year.
Yeah, well, it'll be a great halftime show. Riveting halftime show. Appreciate everybody so much for tuning in, spending your time with us all season long. It's really cool. Congrats to the Seahawks fans in the chat. Can't say I'm happy for you, but no, I can say it. I think I've grown as a person.
I'm not happy for you.
I'll be happy for them. No, I'll find it in my heart. I need to. It's okay.
You haven't lived in Washington, Paul. You haven't been a fan of an NFC West team. Seahawks fans are the worst.
I'm okay. I'm okay enough to just be. I'm happy for Noah, our buddy Noah. Weston's buddy, Matt Ziccato, who's tuned in. We have Seahawks fans who have been very kind to us. I'm happy for you guys. We're going to have a great offseason again. Should be some really big-time content coming out. Hopefully, we're at the draft again. It'll be a lot of fun. So please keep tuning into the show and keep leaving your comments. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Message us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, wherever, with your ideas for the show. Hopefully, we could have call-ins. I want to start doing that. I think that'll be a lot of fun. We have some really good ideas, and we hope you're along the ride with us as we get closer and closer to now it's the countdown for the 2026 season, because football does not stop. So appreciate everybody. Ziggy, any closing thoughts before I hit end stream?
It's the season's over now. It's too late, no matter which team you're a fan of, unless you're Seattle Seahawks. You can't win a Super Bowl anymore.
Yep.
So,
On to 2026
for you.
Hey.
But the thing about football, and this is something you want as a Vikings fan, can always hope for next year.
Yeah, we're look, my attention's on 2026, 2027.
You know how many teams can win the next Super Bowl?
32. We're back.
31.
We're back. Yeah, 31. All right, see ya. All right, let me just end this here.